All right, guys, so today is hopefully the day that we hear Nissan run for the very first time our KA24DE-T swapped Honda Civic. Now, I was hoping to do it yesterday, but unfortunately we were missing a couple little pieces I forgot about. But I did spend my Saturday wisely, and I worked on the Red Z. So I hope that makes a couple of you guys happy. Realistically, I blew out a couple exhaust gaskets, and I had to fix it. So yesterday, I sucked it up, banged it out. So, man, I'm excited, and I am nervous to hear this thing run. I'm not trying to, like, run the car for a long time and drive it around. We're not really there yet. We're a couple days worth of work away. But we could rig a couple things up to get the thing to idle for a little while, and I realistically want to move the thing like 10 feet. I just want to see this car move itself under its own power for the very first time, because I think that's just going to be way too freaking cool. So, to make this all happen today, we have to rig up a couple things, and we're gonna start with this big batch of goodies right here. Ready to hear this thing run or what?
Dude, if today's the day, then it's the day.
Look at your hair.
It's phenomenal. You guys are all jealous.
You look ridiculous.
Listen, I am, doing this pandemic thing right. All right?
Well, your hair might look ridiculous, but that shirt though. What?
Damn.
It's about time.
I'm proud to be the first person wearing it, to be honest.
Here, guys, check it out. Oh, I love it. All right, guys, so we're starting the video with the plug. So we re-upped the merch store. The new drop is out. Everything's limited.
This is not the only shirt. There's more. So go check it out, shopjimmyo.com.
I still can't get over how supportive you guys were on that last drop, unfortunately. I couldn't keep up. It was just me, and I kind of got buried and had to close down the web store for a while.
You guys bought everything too fast. You didn't give this guy enough time to recoup.
And I'm just one person. I did have some help, but unfortunately, I just couldn't keep up, so we had to close the web store for a while. And now, we hired RJ.
Yeah, RJ.
So RJ is now the full-time merch guy, and we will have the store up indefinitely, and it's going to be an amazing thing, and I'm super excited for it. So check it out. We have 3 new designs and a little bit of the old designs left. So check it out, see how much we got left, and cop yourself a Nissan shirt.
shopjimmyo.com.
So enough with the plug. Let's get to work. So right here is everything we need to start the car today.
That's it. That's everything?
That's everything. So check it out. Which order should we do this in? All right, so this piece is part of the Wiring Specialties harness, their universal harness. And basically what it is our outputs and our, I guess, some inputs for our universal KA harness. Here it has some relays built in, so we can actually run a fan, a fuel pump, and our ignition off of this. On top of that, it gives us all our outputs. Basically, most of this stuff is just for the cluster, all right? What we're gonna be using today is these 2 wires right here to make the car run. This is literally all we need to actually get this car to run in the chassis. We need a starter signal, so this will kick on the starter, and we need a ignition trigger to trip on the relay to power the ECU in the harness. Make sense?
Yep.
Cool.
So far.
So that's all we got for that.
So is the ECU gonna do the fuel pump?
Yes, the ECU will trigger the fuel pump. Well, not today, because we're kind of just rigging it in the bump.
Today we're just gonna connect the fuel pump right to the battery when we want the car to run.
Yes, exactly. The next piece of the puzzle is this little jumper harness right here. So, I guess let me explain the jumper harness and the ECU. So guys, of course, we are going with another link. You guys know I can't get enough of these ECUs, I love them. So this time we are going with a linked Monsoon. Right here is a Monsoon that has plenty of options to work on our entire setup, so.
So how many cylinders can you run on a Monsoon?
So I believe there's 4 coil drivers on this thing, but realistically you can run up to a V8 in it because you can run waste spark, right?
Right.
So this will be perfect for the KA, and look at this thing. How cool is that?
They really are pretty.
Dude, this thing is like, it's smaller than a Game Boy. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, as like somebody who went to school for design, I really appreciate a clean package, and it doesn't look like a home built, chipboard.
Since this isn't plug and play to the OEM harness, we have our jumper harness right here that allows us to run the Link Monsoon into a stock KA connector or stock harness even. What's nice about this is if we ever want to put this ECU in another KA car, we can literally unplug it from Nissan and call it a day. So what we gotta do is we plug the link in, boom, watertight. We have some outputs and inputs wired to the side for us, right here, like flex fuel and a boost controller, which is awesome. And then we have our stock KA plug, and this is made by Panic Wire. You can get this whole entire setup on a website. I'll put the link in the description. It's super nice just because you can run a link on a KA, which is freaking awesome.
So what this is normally would be your ECU.
Yeah, exactly.
If you guys remember, Jimmy built one of these before for
a E36. It was a pain in the ass. So thank you, Panic Wire. So aside from plugging this in, we have to do one more thing to make this work for today, and that is wire in our coil drivers for our smart coils. Since the KA came with a distributor and we converted to K-series smart coils, we no longer just have one coil output, we have 4. So I made myself a little cheat sheet right here so I remember which one is which. And luckily enough, the Wiring Specialties harness has them built in. I asked them to do this for me.
Nice. Professor Oak said it's allowed to use a cheat sheet.
All right, so these are aligning with these. All I gotta do is match the numbers for the coils. Now I ordered a 4-pin connector so I could actually plug this and unplug it. Didn't come in, so today we're just gonna splice it together. Sound good? Cool. So YouTube magic for this one. Boom. Then take this, just like a stock ECU. Don't worry about all the other inputs and outputs, we could deal with those later. But to get this thing started, we're just gonna take this, plug that in. This looks like such a mess, but just, we'll go over it again later, guys. Don't be overwhelmed by it, because it's actually extremely simple. This is gonna trigger the relay to turn our ECU and harness on, and then this is gonna crank the car. So, cranking. And then turn the harness and ECU on. You hear the relay click?
Yeah.
Yep. There we go. Now we just need our vacuum line right onto our map sensor, and let's set up a base map. So this is basically a blank ECU. All right, guys, so for this map, we kind of have to start from scratch because this is just a bare standalone ECU. We don't have given startup calibration like the plug-and-play ECU would come with. Like if you got an SR20 plug-and-play, it'd come with basically everything set up ready for you, and you could just adjust it to your setup, like your bigger injectors or simple stuff like that. For us, we're starting from scratch. So we got to assign all our inputs and outputs, and we have to assign things that are specific to the engine, like more importantly, the trigger setup. So our ECU can get a cam or crank pickup, which is very important. We'll have to assign what size injectors we have, the correct dwell for our coil packs, and then all the inputs and outputs for our sensors like our TPS, our coolant temp. So it takes a while, but we'll bang through it quick. So luckily there's a couple things that save you some time. So we're setting up our trigger setup here, which is going to be our distributor that we are now using as a cam angle sensor since we are no longer using it as a distributor. Luckily Link has some built-in ones. Like here we go to, we have the Nissan 350. Or here we have the Nissan 360, and that will work for our KA. So next we're going to go on to our analog inputs. Now analog inputs are easy. It's basically like our 5-volt varying input. So things like here you'll see our throttle position, you'll see, you know, intake air temp, engine coolant temp, and a bunch of other options here we have. So we want to do our throttle positioning sensor. Boom, right here. We have to pick our source, and unfortunately I don't know where it is on the ECU, so we're just gonna guess. All right, sound good?
Sounds great.
Let's try 1. Give it throttle, see what happens.
All right.
Oh, your foot.
Anything?
Not 1. Oh, there we go. Analog 2. Here we go. I'll show them. There we go. That's right, B. So when you define a sensor, you have to calibrate it so you know it knows the scaling of the sensor. TPS is probably the easiest because there's just a tool for it, right?
Even stock OEM cars have that.
Super easy. So depress throttle.
Fully open. Here, hold
Fully open. Full throttle that thing. And we're gonna click OK. And then close it. OK. Look at that. Zeroes it out, and I'll do it. There we go. Boom.
Now we are going to test the outputs on the coil pack. So let's see. What do we got?
Can you hear it?
Yep, that's cylinder 1.
Cylinder 2.
Yep.
And last but not least, cylinder 4.
Yep. They're all firing, bro.
That's good. Now let's test all 4 injectors.
Oh man, now we just need fuel and
A couple other things.
cam trigger.
And yeah, all that.
Mainly. Oh yeah, these are loud. Wow.
All right, injector 3.
Yep. Yep.
And then injector 4.
Oh yeah. Man, these things are loud.
Yeah, they're 1500s, which is ridiculous. Injectors work, coils work. We have a TPS. We have a coolant temp sensor. There's a lot of other sensors we need, and we have to finish wiring a lot of them in, but to run, we should have enough. The cam sensor settings we might have to play with, but let's crank it and see if they'll spark. Spark?
You got spark.
Sick. All right, let's hook up the timing light and get this thing in time. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So now's the fun part of finding base timing. Now the way this works is I have here on the software where I want to lock the base timing. So I'm locking it at 0 degrees, and then I'm adjusting it right here until it lines up with 0 degrees on the crank right there with Brian with the timing light. So the timing light flashes when the spark plug would fire, and there's marks on the crank that says at what degree before top dead center. Yep. Easy as that. So here, Brian, show them what's up.
See if it'll focus. All right, go for it.
Well, it won't focus with the flash, but you get the idea.
You get the idea. So the marks on the crank. So now we have bare minimal sensors to get this thing to run because we still got to wire a bunch of stuff in, like I said before. We have spark. We have working injectors. We have a working cam angle sensor. It's timed correctly. So now, realistically, if everything else is fine in the ECU, we can put the fuel pump on, check for leaks, so we never did, and it should run.
The oil has primed enough.
Yeah, right?
That we're good to go.
We are good to go. All right, so we have our rigged up fuel set up for now. Don't say gosh darn thing, we talked about this. This is just for today.
This is permanent.
Shut up.
Keep it like this
no,
forever.
get out of here.
We good? I heard it come in the rail.
Do you see the fuel pressure regulator?
Yeah, we're right around 52 psi.
Already?
Yeah,
All right, let's turn that thing down. We don't have a wideband on this thing, which means I have no way of knowing what the air-fuel ratio is. So, we're just gonna play guess and check. Like I said, I only wanted to hear this thing run for a little bit. I'm not trying to drive the thing right now. Well, maybe a couple feet, but I'm gonna shut up.
Gotta test the drive shaft and transmission. Just to hook up the yellow and the red wires.
All right, ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, something ain't right, but we got fires. What? Are you ready? Mm-hmm. This is why we don't have a hood dome. It sounds like a tractor. That's what I'm saying. That is so loud. Oh my god. It ran. It did run. I'm excited it ran, but I'm so upset it sounded like that.
It might have been misfire in there.
It totally was misfire.
It definitely. I mean, I know it's gonna sound like shit with that, but it shouldn't sound that shitty.
Jesus Christ.
A few moments later.
All right, so it was sounding like shit, right?
Yeah, it sounded like it was running on 2 cylinders.
So we put the camera down for a second and looked through it and spent more than 2 seconds trying to throw a bunch of stuff at the map just so the thing would run because I was way too eager. We noticed that the second trigger, or basically the cam sensor for this thing, wasn't working. So basically it was just operating as if it just had a crank sensor, which threw it on waste spark, which then threw it on 2 cylinders, and it was running on 2 cylinders. That's the broadest way I'm gonna put it, all right?
Yeah, it's really like the only way we can get it to actually run per minute.
Exactly. So, comes to find out, I didn't know this, but this is a G4X. I knew it was new, but I didn't realize it was as new as to the point that we're one of the first people to have it. So when we were setting up our distributor, which is our cam sensor and our crank sensor built into one, it wasn't set up properly. So, I was lucky enough to get on the phone with Mark Panic, the owner of Panic Wire, the one who made my jumper harness, and he gave me a crash course. I'll tell you what, he went through it with me. He spent the time, we were on the phone for a while, and he helped us set it up correctly. We went through everything. We learned a couple things together. And I messed it up earlier completely. Panic Wire actually has their own website for all their own plug and play harnesses and all that stuff like that. So check it out. I'll put the link in the description. Give it a look because he makes some really, really awesome stuff. And the guy is pretty gosh dang smart. So now it is time to really hear this thing run.
Yeah, are you guys ready for the big reveal?
Are you guys sick of me talking?
I am.
If you're still watching the video, thank you. So start it. No, here. I'm gonna start this thing.
What do you want to do? All right, TJ, you do this. It still sounds like shit, but it's not misfiring.
Alright, well there's no IAC, but alright guys, it runs. It sounds like absolute garbage because we have a hood dump. Please
It sounds a lot better than it did
This
an
is-
hour ago.
Yeah,
So
the car's not shaking. So now it is healthy, it is happy, it is running. The map is set up, everything's configured. We have it on smart coils, fully sequential firing. It's sick. This is an upgraded K. This is a modernized K. We're good to go. So now it is time to get exhaust made, wire in all the other sensors that I haven't wired in yet, get the car back together, and officially take it for its first drive. But what we have to do today is drive the car at least 10 feet.
You gotta get in there and man that throttle by foot, pal.
We gotta watch this thing move on its own power. All right? I mean, this is huge, all right?
oh man, and then we gotta jack it up and freaking really see. No, I don't know.
I just want to move the goddamn thing. All right. It just that was the most pathetic excuse of a run.
First drive, rear-wheel drive.
Oh my god.
That was so sick.
I'm like,
We need a wideband and the rest of the exhaust and probably to assemble the rest of the car.
in a cooling system and like 5 other sensors.
But still, I mean, it was a test, right? Like it moved under tow
Clutch
power.
felt great. My front main seal is pissing for some reason.
Sick.
We left the pile over there. We could fix that. But we just drove the car 10 feet.
Rear wheel powered.
Rear wheel powered, baby. Man, I can't wait to do a burnout in this thing. This is a great time to make a point. So a lot of people were asking why I put the fuel cell in this orientation. Now, we're not using the bottom feeds for anything. I know a lot of guys put in this orientation because drag racing, the momentum will put the gasoline backwards, right? It's a thing.
And they're running carbureted cars and the fuel pump doesn't have to be submerged.
Yeah, all that stuff. So for me, I put it back here so I can go like this. Even when the bumper's on, I can get to it, which is nice. So when we switch between gasoline and ethanol, it's quick. Yeah? There we go, boys. I told you guys, first start only. This is not staying on. It is gone. I will never be using this thing again. Now, I was actually just thinking this will be hilarious. I will throw this in a random order tomorrow. So if you order a shirt today, the day that the video is out, which is, I guess, Memorial Day, right? Tomorrow is Memorial Day, right? Right, Memorial Day. One lucky person will get Nasanda's first startup dump tube. A moment of history right here. I don't know, I thought it was cooler than throwing it away. So, of course, guys, check out the web store. This is a huge deal to me. I'm super, super excited for this, and I'm super excited to continue the momentum. Now, I know we had a lot of hiccups the first time around. It was my first time doing it, and I was just buried. I was so bad, just trying to keep up with everything by myself. And this time, we worked it out, so now RJ is fully in charge, and things will get taken care of perfectly, and orders will go out quickly. So, like I said, check it out. We have 3 new designs. We have a new pair of socks, and of course we restocked on hats, and we're gonna be selling what's last of the old merch. So there you guys go, shopjimmy.com, and one person will win Nasanda's dump tube. So once again, huge out to Link, huge out to Panic Wiring, and well, huge out to you guys. So you know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for more content, and DJ.